welcome everybody. It's the Week 5 college football playoff rankings here. I think you're gonna love it. We'll just go ahead and get right into it. Number 25, we have the Marshall Thundering Herd. I mean, they're not too special, but they're kind of special. They're a good team. They beat Virginia Tech Hokies or whatever, and they're undefeated. And they're just doing their thing. They're in at 25. At number 24, we have TCU. They went to the national championship last year, and until they're not in the national championship, it's just kind of like you have to just have them in there. And then at number 23, we have the UCF Fighting Golden Knights or whatever. UCF, though, the 2017 NBA champions claim, the thing. And they went 13-0, and they're looking to get revenge kind of on college football. And I think they're going to be doing their best to do that, especially in the Big 12 this year and things like that. At number 22, you've got the Clemson Tigers. You've got Dabo Swinney.
Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. Coach Sweeney's got that drip.
And Clemson, they've took a few L's and things like that, but you got to think that the Tigers, they got Dabo Swinney, and they've always got a chance. I mean, he'll give them a chance. At number 21, you're gonna have Army West Point. The thing about Army, I'm a little low on them. A lot of people are real high on Army. They're like, Army's got tanks. They've got things like that. I mean, tanks. How do people beat tanks? But like the thing about it is you're really not thinking. Tanks are slow, and you need speed in football. So it really doesn't add up in the modern style football and things like that. At number 20, we have Cincinnati. I know this one's a little bit of a long shot because Cincinnati lost to Miami, Ohio, and they beat EKU, and that's probably their best win and whatnot. But a thing you got to think about is the NCAA. They love ratings. They love things like that. And Travis Kelce or whatever, the NBA, the NFL guy, the guy who's dating Taylor Swift. I mean, he used to play at Cincinnati. That was his alma mater. So it's huge for that to be, because the NCAA might consider that because they get like Taylor Swift at the playoffs, and people would love that. At 19, we have the Maryland Terrapins. They got some very good players, and most importantly, you remember the guy at Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa. He is now there at Maryland, which makes things. I mean, it makes Maryland hard to beat, to say the least. And then at 18, you got Penn State. And I'm a little low on them, but they're Penn State, and they can make a jump. And at number 17, you got the University of Kentucky, the Stoops Troops. They beat Vanderbilt, and they're undefeated, and SEC, and stuff like that. At number 16, you got Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma, they got their They used to have Baker Mayfield, and that still kind of carries over a little bit, and they're going to do their thing. They're going to be the Sooner Boomer or whatever, and they're going to do their thing. At number 15, we got Oregon. Oregon, I know it's a little low on Oregon, especially after beating Colorado, but that's the thing. Beating Colorado, I mean, it's kind of racist, and I just don't think the college football selection committee really puts up with a lot of racism and things like that. I really don't see a shot for Oregon this year because of something like that. It's really going to be hard for them. And at number 14, you got Michigan, the Michigan Wolverines. They could get in the playoffs. They're pretty good. They got a team over there in Michigan. At number 13, you got Duke, the Duke Blue Devils. And I think a lot of people underestimate Duke because, they're a basketball school and all this and that. But they proved it with Clemson. The thing about it is, basketball, football, whatever, if you can play with balls, you can play with balls. And that's what Duke's doing. They're proving that they can play with balls no matter the size, no matter what. And then at number 12, you've got USC. They got Caleb Williams, and he paints his nails, and he plays in commercials. I mean, what better could you ask for? I mean, it's awesome. And at number 11, you got the South Carolina Gamecocks. Spencer Rattler. We all like Spencer Rattler. We love him, and he plays in the Netflix series. And what more could college football ask for than to have the South Carolina Gamecocks in the playoffs? And at number 10, you got Utah. Utah, they took a loss to Oregon State, and that was kind of bad. But like they did beat the Florida Gators, and that's gonna put them up there a little bit. That's kind of all you can say about the Utah Utes. And number 9, you got Nebraska. Now this isn't the Nebraska of the '90s, but they've played a tough schedule. They played Deion Sanders and whatnot, and Minnesota. They got robbed at Minnesota, and now they're trending in the right direction. I really think they win out, regardless of what anyone says. At number 8, you got the James Madison. I really don't know their mascot, but James Madison, and obviously James Madison would be a lock for the playoffs, but due to the NCAA transition rules or whatever, they're ineligible, which is ridiculous. It's just to keep them out. The NCAA doesn't like James Madison and whatnot, and they're going to keep them out. And at number 7, we've got Auburn because War Eagle or whatever and stuff like that. And Auburn, they're going to make some noise. At number 6, you got Washington. And Michael Penix, he's like the best quarterback we've ever seen. He's better than Tom Brady. He's better than any quarterback we've ever seen, really. And Washington's probably the best football team. Washington is the best football team in college football by far. It's just, the only thing about it is there's better teams. And number five is Georgia. I mean, they've two-peated. They're gonna three-peat and stuff. And they're Georgia, and you really just gotta have them at number 5. I mean, they're a really good team, and they're just one of those teams that, you know, like I said, is better than Washington. Although Washington's the best team in football. And number 4 is Indiana. Now, this one's kind of controversial, but when you think about it, Indiana has made history that the playoff committee likes. They're the only team in NCAA history to hold Ohio State to 10 in the first half, lose to Louisville by 1 possession, and beat Akron in 4 overtimes in the same season in NCAA history. So that's a lot of big things that the committee's looking for, and it's going to be really hard to keep them out at this point. And then at number 3, you've got Colorado. I mean, Deion Sanders, prime time, baby. Colorado, it's insane. I mean, you could honestly put them in the NFL right now, and they would beat your favorite team. They would almost beat anybody in football. You could put that football team on the basketball court, and they would win the NCAA title, the NBA, anything. It's because prime time and his recruiting and Deion Sanders, it's ESPN. It's amazing. I mean, we've never seen anything like it. It's really just rocked the college football world, and that's the reason they're one of the teams that is better than Washington up to this point. And at number 2, it's really difficult to put them at number 2 because you know they're number 1, but you have to put them at number 2. It's the Florida Gators. Florida's back, baby! Woo! Florida is back, baby, and they've been back, baby, but now they're back babier than ever because Billy Napier is the best coach since Nick Saban and anybody else in history. We've never seen anything like it. And Florida, you know, they're the swamp, they're the chomp, and they had Tim Tebow and Felipe Franks, and obviously Florida just back, baby. They're obviously just going to win the entire thing, and there's nothing we can do about it. Except number 1 is the Louisville Cardinals. And honestly, Louisville Cardinals, they actually are the team that can beat Michael Penix. They're the team that can beat Florida. And I hate to say it, they might can beat Deion Sanders. Because, you know, Louisville, they got Jack Harlow, and it helps with the NIL and stuff like that, and Jeff Brom, and Louisville has looked absolutely unstoppable this year. I mean, they've looked like the team. They're 5-0. I mean, we watched them against NC State. We've seen them against Boston College, Indiana. You've seen them play top competition. Like, every team they've played, they've knocked out of the top 25. The top 5, really. And it's just insane to see how good Louisville has done. So you really just have to put Louisville at number 1 regardless. I mean, this is the best thing since Lamar Jackson days, and it's only going to go up from here. I think we have I think we see Louisville become the first ever NCAA football team to go 30-0. I think that what will happen is they'll go 15-0, win the national championship, and schedule 15 more games in the spring and win a spring national championship. That's what we'll see from this Louisville Cardinals team. We've seen nothing like it. And that wraps it up for your college football playoff rankings.